Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing paper 2, graded 2 for O-level maths for the major 2025 series. For someone who wants to check out the paper 1, you can check out the link above. In that playlist, you will find paper 1, graded 2, and graded 3 for major 2025 O-level maths. So let's start with this one and see how difficult or easy this was. So it says the diagram shows part of a pattern with rotation symmetry of order 4. We have to complete the diagram. So for rotation symmetry of order 4, the pattern will be this extended, and then we will shade this square. Why? Because if we rotate the shape 4 times, it will look the same. Because you can already see that the 3 squares are symmetrical. So the 4th one will be here. So the order of rotation symmetry is 4. Then write 18,012 in figures. So to write 18,012 in figures, 18,012. Write on a prime number between 20 and 31, 23. Find the reciprocal of 1 over 9. So to find the reciprocal, we flip the fraction. So 1 over 9 becomes 9. Then write the ratio 175 ml is to 2.5 liters in its simplest form. So we know 1 liter is 1000 ml. So that means 175 ml is to 2.5 times 1000. So that's going to be 175 ml is to 2500 ml. So now we can simplify it. 175 and 2500 come in the 5 times table. So 175 divided by 5 is going to be 35. 2500 divided by 5 is 500. Again divide by 5. That 7 is to 100. Since 7 and 100 don't come in the same times table, so 7 is to 100 is your answer. Remember to make sure that the metric units are exactly the same. So either you convert the milliliters into liters or the liters into milliliters. Then Dan, Erica, and Fatik share $540 and the ratio 4 is to 5 is to 3. Find the amount that Erica receives. So for Erica, we'll first create a fraction that will be 5 out of 4 plus 5 plus 3. The denominator is the sum of values in the ratio, and the numerator is the number assigned to the person that we're talking about. So since we're referring to Erica, so Erica has 5 assigned to her, and the denominator is the sum of 4 plus 5 plus 3, which is 12. So 5 over 12, and then to find her share, we times it by 540. So that leaves us with $225. Simple as that. Then find the value of x and the value of y. So we have angles in parallel lines. These two angles are co-interior angles, and co-interior angles always add up to 180. So x plus 128 equals to 180. So x is going to be the difference of 180 and 128, which gives us the value of 52 degrees. Then for y, x is the same as this, and this is the same as this, because they are corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are equal. So that means x plus y also equals to 180 because they're co-interior. So 52 plus y equals to 180, and y is going to be 180 minus 52, which is 128. So y is 128 and x is 52 degrees. Then convert 6.1 meters square to centimeters square. 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So 1 meter square would be 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters, which is 10,000 centimeters square. So 6.1 meters square into centimeter square is going to be 6.1 times 10,000, which is going to be 61,000 centimeters square. That's your answer. In a survey, students are asked to choose their favorite type of movie. The table shows the results. So we have the relative frequency for romance, science fiction, and other. They're asking us to find the relative frequency for thriller. So we will subtract 0.1, 0.35, and 0.3 from 1. You always do this, whether they've given you the probabilities or the relative frequencies. You will subtract the given values from 1 to find the missing value. So that's going to give us 0.25. Then 500 students take part in the survey. Calculate the number of students who choose science fiction. So for science fiction, it was 0.35. So we times that by 500. That gives us 175. So 175 is the number of students who chose science fiction. Then Chris wants to exchange $350 for euros at the bank. The bank only gives euros in multiples of £5, 5 euros. The exchange rate is $1 equals to 0.92 euros. Calculate the number of euros he receives and his change from $350. So he's exchanging $350. So we first multiply 350 by 0.92, which gives us the value of dollars in euros. So 350 times 0.92, that's 322 euros. So they're saying the bank only gives euros in multiples of 5. So that would be 320. So 320 euros is he'll get as multiples of 5. And then the change would be 2 euros. So since the change is 2 euros and they want the change in dollars, so we convert the euros back to dollars. So in dollars, that's going to be 2 divided by 0.92, which will give us $2.17. So in euros, it's going to be 320, and the dollar change is $2.17. That's your answer. Then calculate the interior angle of a regular octagon. So for the interior angle, there's a formula, which is n minus 2 times 180 divided by n. An octagon has 8 sides. So 8 minus 2 times 180 divided by 8. So that's 6 times 180 divided by 8. That's going to be 135 degrees. So 135 is the interior angle of a regular octagon. Then on the Venn diagram, show the region represented by A intersection B complement. So everything that's outside the intersection of A and B, which is going to be all of this part. Like I said, everything outside the intersection of A and B. So everything except for the intersection between A and B, like everything that's not a part of the common elements between the two. In a class of 22 students, 12 play the piano, 9 play the guitar, 6 do not play the piano or the guitar. Find the number of students who play both the piano and the guitar. You may use the Venn diagram to help you. So 6 play neither. This is the piano, this is the guitar. 6 is outside. 12 play the piano, so 12 over here, and 9 play the guitar. Obviously, there's something common because it says that we have to find out the number of students who play both the piano and the guitar. So because of that, we write 12 minus x and we write 9 minus x. We will subtract the common elements from the number of people who play the guitar and number of people who play the piano. Why? Because there's an overlap area between both the Venn diagrams, and we can see that that overlap region shows the number of people who play the piano as well as the guitar. So in order for us to find the number of people who just play the piano or just the guitar, we have to subtract that common number. So there are 22 students in total. So 6 plus 12 minus x plus 9 minus x equals to 22. We add up all of the elements inside the Venn diagram and put it equal to 22 because 22 is the total number of students. So 6 plus 12, 18, 18 plus 9, 27 minus x equals to 22. 27 minus 22 equals to x, and x is 5, which means 5 is the number of people who play both the piano and the guitar. Then we have indices. It says simplify 7x squared times y to the power of 5 divided by x cubed times y squared. So whenever we have similar bases being divided, we will subtract the powers. So x squared and x cubed have the similar base of x, and y to the power of 5 and y squared have the similar base of y. So we'll write 7 times x to the power of 2 minus 3. Like I said, when we're dividing similar bases, we subtract the powers. So it's going to be 2 minus 3, and for y, it's going to be 5 minus 2. That's 7 times x to the power of negative 1 times y cubed. So we'll rewrite this as 7 times y cubed over x. The reason why I'm writing x in the denominator is because x has a power of negative 1. So I just want to write it as a positive index. If you want to write it as a negative index, you can even leave it as 7y cubed times x to the power of negative 1. Either way, it's going to be correct. Then says Zaya invests $4,500 in a savings account. The account pays simple interest at a rate of 3.2% per year. Calculate the value of the investment at the end of 5 years. So simple interest is going to be 4,500 times the rate of interest, 3.2 over 100, times the time period, which is 5 years. So that's going to be $720. Now for the value of investment, so final value, we add the initial amount, 4,500, to the interest earned, which is 720. That gives us $5,220. That is the final value of the investment. Then Aisha invests $2,750 in a different savings account. This account pays compound interest at a rate of 2.1% per year. Calculate the total amount of interest she receives at the end of 3 years. So that's compound interest. So in the compound interest formula, it gives you the final value of the investment. So 2,750 times 1 plus 2.1 over 100 to the power of 3. Plug this in the calculator. That's $2,926.91. So the question says that they want to know the total amount of interest she's received. So for the interest, we will subtract this value from the initial value. Because as I said, the compound interest formula gives us the final value of the investment. Whereas the simple interest formula gives us the interest that has been earned during the given time period. So 2,926.91 minus 2,750, that gives us $176.91. That is the interest earned during the given 3 years. Then we have to factorize 7hx plus 6fy minus 21fx minus 2hy. So first I'm going to rearrange the terms. I'm going to write 7hx minus 21fx, then minus 2hy plus 6fy. Now I'm going to use factor by grouping. The first two terms make one group and the last two terms make another group. So the first group we have 7x common. So h minus 3f comes in the bracket. And the second group we have negative 2y common. So h minus 3f comes in the bracket. Now between 7x and minus 2y we have h minus 3f common. So that means it's going to be h minus 3f times 7x minus 2y. The 7x minus 2y come in the other bracket, and now this is fully factorized. Then we have a probability tree diagram. A bag contains 9 red counters and 3 green counters. Lee takes 2 counters from the bag at random without replacement. We have to complete the tree diagram. So if the probability of getting a red counter first is 9 over 12, and then probability of getting a red counter again is going to be 8 out of 11 because it's without replacement. So once the counter is out of the bag, there's one less counter. So there's one less total counter. and one less counter from the color that you've taken the counter from. So as you can see, when you took one red counter, the total number of red counters became 8 and the total counters became 11. So if the probability of getting the first counter as red, the probability of getting the green counter as the first counter is going to be 3 out of 12. Then if you have the first green counter and the second red counter, that would be 9 out of 11. The reason why it's 9 out of 11 because the number of green counters have been reduced by 1. So that means nothing happens with the number of red counters. However, the total number of counters is reduced by 1. So getting a green again would be 2 out of 11. And over here, getting a green after getting a red would be 3 out of 11. These are your probabilities. Then work out the probability that both the counters are red. So for both counters to be red, we're going to go from this branch to this branch. So you need to remember when you're going along the branches, you multiply the probabilities. So 9 out of 12 times 8 out of 11. This is going to be 72 out of 132. If you want to simplify it, you can simplify it, or you can even leave it as it is. Simplified answer would be 6 out of 11. So this was actually very simple. Like they already gave you the probabilities for the question and you were just supposed to multiply them. That's it. Nothing complicated so far. Then we have circle theorems. So PQRS is a cyclic quadrilateral that even once again identified in the question. They're not even asking you to figure out what the cyclic quadrilateral is. They have told us that PQRS is a cyclic quadrilateral. So let me highlight it. PQRS, this is your cyclic quadrilateral. APB is a tangent to the circle at P. Angle SPB is given as 37. Angle PSQ is 85. We have to figure out angle PQS. This angle. Okay, so if you notice, QSP is a triangle and all three vertices of the triangle are touching the circumference of the circle, which means we can use the alternate segment theorem to solve this triangle. An alternate segment theorem, if the triangle inscribed inside the circle has all three vertices touching the circumference, that means whatever angle is over here, the same angle goes over here. So this is 37 and this is 85. So which means this would be 180. So QPS would be 180 minus 85 minus 37, which equals 58 degrees. Now I know we don't need this right now because they're asking us to find PQS, but just for your understanding, in alternate segment theorem, this angle equals to this one, this angle equals to this, and this is the common angle between the straight line and the triangle. So PQS is 37 degrees, and the reason is alternate segment theorem. Then find QRS. So for QRS, that's this angle. So since PQR is a cyclic quadrilateral, we know that opposite angles add up to 180, which means QRS is going to be 180 minus 58, which will give us 122 degrees as the angle. That's your answer. Then it says these are the first 4 patterns in a sequence made from black beads and from white beads. So we have the number of beads in pattern 1, 2, 3, and 4. They want us to complete the table and figure out the number of white beads and black beads in pattern 5. So if you look at the black beads, it's 1, 3, then it's 6, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. So we're adding to then we're adding 3, then we're adding 4. We're adding consecutive numbers. So next would be adding 5. So black beads are going to be 15. So for 5, black are 15. Now for the white ones, we have 5. Then we have 7. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we have 11. It's also given in the table. So we're adding 2 beads each time for white. So that means next is going to be 11 plus 2. That's 13. So there are 13 white beads, 15 black beads. So total number of beads are 28. Then it says find an expression for the number of white beads in pattern N. So for pattern N, we're adding 2 beads each time. So whatever the common difference is, you times it by N. So that gives us 2N. So let's say the nth term is 2N. So to find the first term, 2 times 1 gives us 2. Whereas for us, the first term is 5 for the number of white beads, which means to turn 2 into 5, we need to add 3. So now if we use 2n plus 3, let's find the third term. So that's going to be 2 times 3 plus 3. 6 plus 3, that is 9. 9 is the third term. So that means your nth term is 2n plus 3 for the number of white beads. Always remember you multiply the common difference with the n value and then you change the equation based on what the actual first term is. Over here, if we use 2n as the nth term, our first term would be 2, not 5. How can we turn 2 into 5? We add 3. So then we use 2n plus 3 as the nth term, and that gave us all of the terms as identified in the patterns. Then we need to find an expression for the total number of beads in pattern N. So for the total number of beads, this one was 28. So let's find the first difference first. So for the first difference, 10 minus 6 is 4, 15 minus 10 is 5, 21 minus 15 is 6, and 28 minus 21 is 7. So we can clearly see that the first difference is not common. And we subtract these terms, 5 minus 4 is 1, 6 minus 5 is 1, and 7 minus 6 is also 1, which means the second difference is common. So that means it's a quadratic sequence. Only in the quadratic sequence, the second difference is common. So one way of doing this is that you need to know about certain equations for this. So your second difference basically equals to 2a. Your second term minus first term equals to 3a plus b. And your first term equals to a plus b plus c. So based on this, second difference is 1. So 1 equals to 2a. So a is 1 over 2. Second term minus first term equals to 3a plus b. So second term is 10 minus first term 6 equals to 3 times 1 over 2 plus b. So that's going to be 4 minus 3 over 2, which is 5 over 2. So 5 over 2 is your b value. So for c value, we can just use the last equation. First term equals to a plus b plus c. So that's 6 equals to a plus b plus c. Let's do that. So 6 equals to a plus b plus c. So 6 equals to 1 over 2 plus 5 over 2 plus c. So 6 equals to 6 over 2 plus c. 6 minus 3, and that is 3. So your nth term is 1 over 2n squared plus 5 over 2n plus 3. That is your final answer. So like I said, you need to know about these formulas. And firstly, if the second difference is common, it's a quadratic sequence. And then the second difference equals to 2a, which is the coefficient of n squared. Second term minus first term equals to 3ab. So you can use that to find the value of b. And then to find the value of c, the sum of a, b, and c equals to the first term. Then it says Bill has only 88 white beads, but lots of black beads. Pattern P is the largest possible pattern he can make using these beads. Work out the value of P. So he only has 88 white beads, but lots of black beads. So what we will do over here is that we know that the white beads were 2n plus 3. So we can use this equation to figure out what the value of P is going to be. 88 equals to 2P plus 3. So 88 minus 3 equals to 2P. That's 85 over 2. That gives us 42.5. So we want to find the largest possible value for P. So that's going to be 42. 42 is P. And the population of Kenya is 5.71 times 10 to the power of 7 people. The area of Kenya is 6 times 10 to the power of 5 kilometers square. The population density is the number of people per kilometer square. Calculate the population density of Kenya. So we divide the number of people, which is 5.71 times 10 to the power of 7, by the area, which is 6 times 10 to the power of 5. So 5.71 divided by 6 is 0.9516 times 10 to the power of 2, because 10 to the power of 7 and 10 to the power of 5 have the same base. So we subtract the powers, that's 2. So now we write this in standard form. So that's going to be 95.16 people per kilometer square. If you want to round it, you can round it, you can leave it as it is. Either way, it's correct. Then your functions, f of x equals to 10 minus x over 3. Find f of negative 8. We just replace x with negative 8 in the equation. That's 10 plus 8 over 3, and that's 6. Then g of x equals to 4x plus 3. Find its inverse. So for the inverse, first step is to replace g of x with y. So right now, y is the subject of the equation. They want x to be the subject. So let's take 3 to the other side. So we have y minus 3 equals to 4x. Now we divide both sides by 4. So y minus 3 over 4 equals to x. Now we replace x with g inverse x and y with x. So we have x minus 3 over 4 as the inverse. The inverse is the exact opposite of the original equation. Whatever is happening in the original, the inverse will show the opposite thing. Then it says 300 students take part in a competition. The table shows information about their scores. So we have the intervals and their corresponding frequency. We have to calculate the estimate of the mean score. For the estimate of the mean score, you need to find the midpoint of each of these intervals and then multiply those midpoints with the frequency value. So for the midpoint of 0 and 30 is 15. For 30 and 40 is 35. For 40 and 60 it's 50. For 60 and 70 it's 65. And for 70 and 100 it's 85. So now we multiply the frequency value with the x value. So 15 times 24 is 360. 35 times 70 is 2,450. 50 times 88 is 4,400. 65 times 76 is 4,940. And 85 times 42 is 3,570. So for the mean value, sum of fx divided by sum of f. So sum of fx is 360 plus 2450 plus 4400 plus 4940 plus 3570. All of this is going to be divided by the total frequency, which is 300. So that's going to give us 52.4. That is the estimate of the mean score. Remember to find the midpoint of your intervals, then times that by the frequency, add the result in the numerator, and the denominator is going to be the sum of frequency. Then we have an histogram, and is saying on the grid, complete the histogram to present the data in the table. So as you can see in the histogram, the y-axis is the frequency density, not the frequency value. So let's first find the frequency density for each interval. Frequency density is frequency over class width. So for the first one, it's 24 over 30. Class width is the difference between your maximum and minimum value of the interval. So that's going to be 0.8. Then 70 divided by 10, that's 7. Then 88 divided by 20, which is 4.4. 76 divided by 10, 7.6. 42 divided by 30, 1.4. So now we're going to plot these values according to the given intervals: 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. This is the first bar. Then we have 4.4, 4.2, 4.4. Then 7.6. 7 is this, 7.2, 7.4, 7.6. That is from 60 to 70. 70 is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1.4, so 3.8, 1, 1.2, 1.4. That is your bar for this one. And that's the complete histogram. Then it says, complete the table of values for y equals to x cubed minus 5x plus 4. So for this, you just have to substitute the x values in the given equation to find the corresponding y values. So the corresponding y values for this one is going to be -8. Only one is missing, all others are given. So now we plot these points on the given grid. So I'm going to write the coordinates on the side. So -3, -8, -2, 6, -1, 8, 0, 4, 1, 0, 2, 2, and 3, 16. -3, -8. -2 and 6. -1 and 8. 0, 4. 1, 0, 2, 2, and 3, 16. So now we connect the points. That's our graph. By drawing the suitable straight line on the grid, find the solutions of the equation x cubed minus 5x minus 3 equals to 0. X cubed minus 5x minus 3 equals to 0. If we compare this with this equation, we can see that it subtracted 7, which means we have to draw a line for y equals to 7. So y equals to 7 is 9, 8, 7. So we have 1 intersection point, 2 intersection point, 3 intersection point. This one, and this one. So that's negative 1.9. Then x equals to 0.7, negative 0.7, and x equals to 2.7. These are the values of x that I'm getting right now based on my graph. Obviously, it will be different for everyone because it depends on how you've drawn the graph. As long as your values are in the given range, it's going to be correct. Then it says A, B, C, D, and E, F, G, D are rectangles. Show that CD equals to x minus 1. CD will be x minus 1 because we're going to subtract EF and CG. Why? Because EF is basically DC plus CG. So if we take away CG from EF, that gives us CD. So 2x minus 3 minus x minus 2. That's 2x minus x minus 3 plus 2. X minus 1. That's exactly what the question tells us to prove. Area of the rectangle EBCD is 1/5 of the area of the rectangle EFGD. Form an equation in X and show that it simplifies to x squared minus 6x plus 3 equals to 0. So ABCD is going to be, if this is x plus 3 and this is x, this is going to be x plus 3 minus x, which is 3. So 3 times x minus 1, which is 3x minus 3. This is the area of ABCD. And for EFGD, your area is going to be 2x minus 3 times x plus 3. That's 2x squared plus 6x minus 3x minus 9, which is 2x squared plus 3x minus 9. That's the area of EFGD. Now, area of rectangle ABCD is 1/5 of the area of rectangle EFGD. So 3x minus 3 is 1/5 times 2x squared plus 3x minus 9. Cross multiply, 15x minus 15 equals to 2x squared plus 3x minus 9. Collect all of the terms on one side. So 0 equals to 2x squared plus 3x minus 15x minus 9 plus 15. 2x squared minus 12x plus 6. We can divide all of the terms by 2. So that gives us x squared minus 6x plus 3 equals to 0, which is exactly what the question was asking us to do. Then use the quadratic formula to solve the equation x squared minus 6x plus 3 equals to 0. Quadratic formula is x equals to negative b plus minus root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. A is the quotient of x squared, which is 1 in this case. B is the coefficient of x, which is negative 6, and c is your constant, which is 3. So we substitute these values in the equation and solve it for x. So minus -6 plus minus root of -6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3 divided by 2 times 1. That's 6 plus minus root of 36 minus 12 over 2. 36 minus 12 is going to be 24, and square root of 24 is 4.89. So one value of x is 6 plus 4.89 over 2, which gives us 5.45. And the other is 6 minus 4.89 over 2, which gives us 0.56. These are your two values of x correct to two decimal places. Then it says calculate the shaded area. So for the shaded area, we subtract the two areas. So that's going to be 2x minus 3 times x plus 3 minus 3 times x minus 1. So 2x squared plus 6x minus 3x minus 9 minus 3x plus 3. So that's 2x squared minus 6. So we had x equals to 5.45 and x equals to 0.56. We cannot use 0.56 because one length is x minus 1 and 0.56 minus 1 will give us a negative answer. So this is not applicable and this is the one we'll use. So we substitute x with 5.45 to find the shaded area. So 5.45 squared times 2 minus 6 gives us 53.41 units square. That is the shaded area based on the value of x that we have chosen. Then it says the diagram shows a solid form by joining a cone to the hemisphere. The diameter of the cone is 14 centimeters and the diameter of the hemisphere is 14 centimeters as well. The total height of the solid is 24 centimeters. Calculate the volume of the solid. One thing you need to remember over here is that if 14 is the diameter of the hemisphere, that means the radius is 7. And 7 is your distance from the center towards the circumference, as that is the radius. So this distance is also 7. So height of the cone is going to be 24 minus 7, which is 17 centimeters. So we can easily find the volume of the solid, which is volume of the cone plus volume of the hemisphere. Volume of the cone is 1 over 3 pi r square h, and volume of the hemisphere is 2 over 3 pi r cube. We have r, which is 7. We have the height, which is 17. So 1 over 3 pi times 7 squared times 17 plus 2 over 3 pi times 7 cube. That's going to give us 1590 centimeter cube. That's your volume of the solid. Then show that the total surface area of the solid is 712 centimeters squared, correct to the nearest integer. For the total surface area, we need the curved surface area of the cone because the base area is attached to the hemisphere, so we don't need that. And for the hemisphere, we need area of the hemisphere. So surface area is going to be curved surface area, which is pi RL plus 2 pi r square. That's the formula that we're going to use. So for the pi RL, L is your slant height. So we know this was 17. This is 7. So we can use Pythagoras to figure out the slant length. So L is going to be root of 17 squared plus 7 squared using Pythagoras. So that's going to give us 18.38 centimeters. So that's pi times 7 times 18.38 plus 2 pi times 7 squared. That gives us 712.07 centimeters squared. That is your surface area of the solid. And since they want the answer correct to the nearest integer, that's going to be 712 centimeters squared. That is your final answer. Then it says the smallest solid is mathematically similar to the solid. The total surface area of the smallest solid is 242 centimeters squared. Calculate the total height of the smallest solid. So if they're mathematically similar, surface area of the large solid is 712 centimeters squared. Surface area of the small solid is 242 centimeters squared. We know height of the large solid, that's going to be 24. So height of the small solid is what we're trying to find. So we'll say height of the large solid divided by height of the small solid whole squared equals to surface area of the large solid divided by the surface area of the small solid. So that's 24 over HS whole squared equals to 712 divided by 242. 712 divided by 242 is 2.94. So 24 over HS whole square equals to 2.94. Square root both sides. So 24 over HS equals to 1.71. So HS is 24 divided by 1.71. That's 14.04 centimeters. That is your height of the smaller solid. So since they're both similar shapes, you need to remember that when we talk about area in similar shapes, the ratio of the lengths being squared is equal to the corresponding ratio of the areas. So that's why height of the larger solid divided by height of the smaller solid whole square equals to surface area of the larger solid divided by surface area of the smaller solid. And that gives us 14.04 as the height. Then it says diagram shows a triangular field ABC. AB is given as 150 meters, BC is 187 meters, and the angle ABC is 112. Fencing is needed for the perimeter of the field. Fencing is sold in rolls of length of 20 meters. We have to calculate the number of rolls of fencing needed. So since we need the perimeter, we need the boundary, and we have the length of AC missing. So whenever we have two lengths and the angle between them, we use the cosine rule to find the third length. So that's going to be AC squared equals to 150 squared plus 187 squared minus 2 times 150 times 187 times cos of 112. So 150 squared plus 187 squared equals to 57,469 minus, now we multiply 2 with 150, then with 187, and then with cos of 112. Remember to multiply all four of them together. Don't first subtract 2 times 150 times 187 from the sum of these squares. You have to multiply all of them together and then subtract the result from the sum. So that's negative 21,015.429. So AC square equals 78,484.429. Then we square root both sides and AC gives us 280.15 meters. So now for the perimeter, we add up the lengths 150 plus 280.15 plus 187. That gives us 617.15. Now fencing is sold in rolls of length 20 meters. So to find the number of rolls, we divide the perimeter by the length of the roll. So 617.15 divided by 20 gives us 31 rolls. We round 30.8 to 31 because the rolls can't be less. They can be more because we can't leave the fence incomplete. So we round 30.8 up, not down. Then calculate the shortest distance from B to AC. Shortest distance from B to AC. Now this distance will always be the perpendicular distance. So it's the perpendicular distance. We have the third length, which was 280.15 meters. So to find the shortest distance, we need one of the angles. So if we try to find angle A, what we can do is we can use the sine rule. Why the sine rule? Because we have this length and its corresponding angle. We have this length. We want to find its corresponding angle, which is angle A. So we can say that 187 divided by sine of A equals to 280.15 divided by sine of 112. So 187 times sine of 112 is divided by 280.15, which equals to sine of angle A. Let's plug this in the calculator. 187 times sine of 112 divided by 280.15. That's 0.61889. Take sine inverse of that. And that's going to give us 38.24 degrees. That's your angle A. So now this is 38.24. We want to find this shortest distance from B to AC. So now it's a right angle triangle because like I said, it's the perpendicular distance. So we can use SOHCAHTOA. We have an angle. We have a length. So you have the hypotenuse. We're trying to find the opposite. So we'll use sine. Sine of 38.24 equals to x over 150. So 150 times sine of 38.24, and that's going to give us 92.84 meters. That is the shortest distance from B to AC. Then it says R cycles a distance of 500 meters correct to the nearest 5 meters. This takes 24.7 seconds correct to the nearest 0.1 seconds. We have to calculate the lower bound of our average speed. So average speed is distance over time. If we want to find the lower bound in division, then we divide lower bound by the upper bound, which means we need the lower bound of the distance and upper bound of the time to find the lower bound of the average speed. So for distance, it's 500 meters correct to the nearest 5 meters. So whatever it's correct to, you divide that by 2, which is 2.5. And then for the lower bound, we will subtract 2.5 from 500. So 500 minus 2.5 equals 497.5 meters. That is your lower bound of the distance. For time, it's correct to the nearest 0.1 seconds. So 0.1 divided by 2 is 0.05. So upper bound is going to be 24.7 plus 0.05, which is 24.75 seconds. So average speed is 497.5 divided by 24.75. That's going to give us 20.10 meter per second. That's your lower bound of the average speed. Then express as a single fraction in its simplest form. So we have two fractions being subtracted, but as you can see, their denominators are not the same. So first step is to make the denominators equal. That can be done by multiplying the first fraction by 4x minus 3 and the second fraction by 2x plus 1. So that's 4 times 4x minus 3 over 4x minus 3 times 2x plus 1 minus 2 times 2x plus 1 over 4x minus 3 times 2x plus 1. Expand the bracket in the numerator. That's 20x minus 15 over 4x minus 3 times 2x plus 1 minus 4x minus 2 over 4x minus 3 times 2x plus 1. Combine the numerators. 20x minus 15 minus 4x minus 2. Denominator is the same, which is 4x minus 3 times 2x plus 1. 20x minus 4x is 16x. Negative 15 minus 2 is negative 17. And that is divided by 4x minus 3 and 2x plus 1. This is your answer as a single fraction in its simplest form. We cannot further simplify it, so it remains as it is. If you want to expand the bracket in the denominator, you can also do that, but it's not compulsory. You can even leave it as it is. And with that, we're done with the questions for paper 2 of O-Levels May-June 2025. This was the second variant. If you have any questions or confusions, please leave a comment below and I'll help you out. If you understood everything, please like and subscribe, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to check out the other video, which will be for the third variant of paper 2.